Come back to where Rams walk. The transfer window is now closed, so we are asking all Derby County fans, what would you grade it? Out of 10? Good? Bad? Indifferent? Time to find out on where Rams walk.
Yes, we are Derby County, and we'll go straight back up.
Welcome to Where Rams Walk. We've got Darren, Peyton, Lewis, and John back with us to not only talk about transfer windows, but we're also going to look back at the Bristol City win this weekend. And we're also talking about away days. What's the worst away day trip you've ever been on as a Derby County fan? We'll get these guys to share their experiences on that in a second. But first, 3 points in the bag. Come on. Yes, that's happy Rams this week. And I've seen on Twitter lots of people saying that was the best Derby performance they've seen under Paul Warren. I want to get your views on that in a second as well. But let's jump straight into what we want you to do in the comments. First of all, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We know there's tons of Derby content out there, but we're really grateful for you to select us for watch this one. We'll talk about transfer window and get you to grade that 1 to 10 in the comments below. And also we'll look at Derby County's fixtures to come after the international break. How many more points will they pick up out of the next 5? All right, then let's kick straight off with it then. Peyton, talk us through that one. That was a good one for you, wasn't it?
I mean, it was great. The first 20 minutes, well, Warren says interview, first 20 minutes, normally every game, it's a bit random, nothing really happens. But I thought Bristol were going to batter us after that. And then kind of out of nowhere, Kenzo Hardmine scores a screamer about 5 minutes after he missed a sitter. And then after the goal, we looked the better sides. Went into half-time, 1-0 up deservedly, really. And then after half-time, could have scored 5 or 6. We could have ended that game 6 or 7-0 up, really.
Yeah, hit the post, was it twice? These days? I can't recall myself. John, did they even surprise you how good they were in that second half?
Yeah. I mean, like Peyton says, first 10, 15 minutes, I thought Zetterstone made a crucial save. And then obviously a block from Curtis Nelson, they nearly scored from. And then there's a saying, isn't there, goals change games. So, like I said last week, or we spoke about last week, an impact, someone is going to have a bit of personality when they get the ball. Like Paul Wall mentioned, Paul mentioned it after Watford, be brave. And I thought the catalyst and the spark was Jerry Ace. Jerry Ace linking up the play. Lovely combination play with Mendes Lang, and our transition up the pitch when we worked into the areas was quick and sharp. Second half, well, they played 4-2-3-1, same formation as us. It's about winning your duels, winning your battles. David Ozo, David Ozo is like Yaya Toure of the Championship at the moment. He's honestly the power. He just brushes players away, and he's got the quality to do something well with the ball. And then, like I say, pace that second half, we battered them. They didn't have an answer to that, and I didn't expect that. I was optimistic and hoping for a 1-1, but I thought I'd get a point, 4 points, build into that. But yesterday it was fun. It was. I didn't expect it, and they look really good.
Yeah, Bristol City fans said that Derby were the best team they've played this year so far, which is high praise. Lewis, not sure if you went to the Barrow game or not, but hopefully you didn't.
No.
Explain to me how Derby can be so bad one week and so good the next.
I don't know if I have the answer to that. I really don't. Watching Barrow, I didn't go Barrow. Watching Barrow on Tuesday night on Sky, you could tell who was a team in the Championship, who was a team in League Two. We did similar against Chesterfield. We couldn't tell the leagues apart. But come Saturday, Bristol City, would we think we're Championship? Yeah, because the whole team just gelled. We worked it. We were far the better team. But to go from what I saw Tuesday night to then what I saw Saturday was chalk and cheese, to be honest with you. It was 2 different performances altogether. So, yeah, I can't answer that. I really can't. That's something probably Paul.
Mark,
Mark, sorry, can I have a go at answering that question? Just
Oh,
to help
please
out.
do, Darren. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so I'm a stats guy, and so the game yesterday against Bristol, we had the ball for 36% of the time. Against Barrow, we had the ball we were in possession for 54% of the time, and that's us. We are a counter-attacking team. That just want to kind of suck up pressure and then hit on the break with speedy players up front. And we have got some speed now. And we just had the ball too much against Barrow. It's like when we seem to have the ball a lot, we don't quite know what to do with it. In the passes seem to go everywhere. So we are a counter-attacking team, and I think our possession percentages are going to be down this year. But they're going to be the games we might do best at. So. Yeah, maybe that says an answer there.
Absolutely. I mean, to be fair to all of you, you did warn me about this last week in the Watford game. And you did say, look, we were in that game. We weren't as bad as that scoreline made out. So I should have put some money on you. Here's what social media said. I love this from Claire. Thank you, Claire. I can't stop thinking about how we played yesterday. That was the best game I've seen Derby play in years. Outstanding team performance where you would struggle to choose a man of the match. I'm going to ask you all to do that in a minute anyway. Bold claim. Jacob Strong is going to be one of my all-time favourite keepers. Who was your man of the match, Peyton?
I don't know. I mean, everyone was amazing, and I think that's the first time I've ever seen a Derby game where everyone's been great. It's normally a bit of Mendes-Lang being great and everyone else kind of looking a bit rubbish in comparison, but Mendes-Lang was the one that didn't look very good yesterday, and that's surprising, but he did have a great performance, you know. So I think maybe David Ozo.
Fair enough. John Stevens says that the midfield that he's listed there, Stoney Adams, is the best midfield that Derby have had since the days of Bryson, Hendrick, Hughes, Thorne, Coots, and Eustace. It was quite a bold claim. Would you go so far as to say that?
He's got the potential, definitely, after yesterday, you know, but it'll be a different style. It's like we just spoke about. We look better when we haven't got the ball and we suck teams in and bang, we transition through the pitch with pace and power. That side played, as we know, through the thirds. So they're two different styles of play of footballers, but they've got the potential to have the impact of what Bryson, Hendrick, Hughes, and etc. had. The different types of footballers.
And Chris says, Derby have done it again. 2 seasons on the bounce. We're going to fall in love with a lone player. And we all know as he was referring to there. But who cares? I mean, if they're on loan but want to play for the club, you can't knock that, can you?
Not really, no. I think that's the danger, though, isn't it? We saw it year in, year out before with Mount and whoever else we had on loan back in Lampard's days. But we had Ebou Adams, and everyone again fell in love. And thankfully, we've signed him. I think he's a massive fan favourite. David Oza has got that potential, but yeah, you're on loan. You know, you can't. That's it. It's on loan, isn't it? You know, you've not signed them permanently. You can't do too much with that. You just have to accept it if they want to move on. I mean, yeah, if they want to move on, yeah, they move on. You just smile and wave.
All right, let's have a look then at your spendings, and let's ask you all to review the transfer window before we move on to the next game. We have a look here. You are the 19th biggest spenders, having spent just short of €3.5 million. But it's the balance sheet which I want to ask you more about, because you'd expect a promoted team not to be big spenders, but in terms of balances, if you look there at the top, you are the 6th most in debt in terms of what's been paid out to what's come in. That's the simple fact that, well, according to the data that we have from transfermarket.com, that you haven't recouped anything from any players. So the question I have to ask you all, and I'll start with Darren on this one, is: does that worry you?
No, it doesn't worry me. The reason for that, Mark, I think, is unlike some of the other Championship sides, we haven't had an asset that we've sold for a lot of money. Probably our most saleable asset was probably Erin Cashin, and he stayed, and I'm glad he has. So I think what's happened is some other teams have spent more than us, but they've sold to spend. Like you were speaking to the Norwich guys before, and they sold that Sarah guy for like 18 million or so. We just haven't had anything like that. But I do think, we are being managed completely sensibly now. I think that the budget is sensible. So no, I don't have any worries. No, I don't have any worries.
If I could
Peter,
jump into that.
yeah, please
Right,
do.
Another thing is that we've obviously, when in League One, some of the homegrown players that we had at the club, like Jason Knight, he went to Bristol City last season, and then Max Bird went in January. We've sold a couple of players in League One, and we didn't spend anything because we weren't allowed to. So we had 2 or 3, maybe 4 million just there that we hadn't spent a penny of it on transfers because we weren't allowed to.
The Portsmouth fans earlier we spoke to, they are the worst spenders of it. When they spent about $1 million, their fans were saying, no, we're happy with that. We don't expect them to be spending anymore. But I have seen a lot of Derby fans, especially after the Barrow result, before obviously Saturday, saying, come on, we've got to be more competitive. You can't be going down or we're coming back up. John, do you understand some fans' point of view when they want Derby to be spending more and being a bit more ambitious in the transfer market?
Of course, I understand. Football fans want to win games of football. I mean, at the time when Mel Morris was spending his millions, no one argued with it. Yeah, bringing more players in. Obviously, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road, what happened there? Look, a fan's entitled to his opinion. He's entitled. He's entitled. He wants the best. We all want the best, don't we? We all care. We all want the best for the club. But I say what I say. Realistically, for me, it's still about staying up. Still, I'm not getting too. It was a great performance yesterday, but we've still got some hard games and challenges in front of us.
Speaking of those hard games, your next set of fixtures, Lewis. Let's have a look at the 5 games now between the next international break. Cardiff at home, Sheffield United away, Norwich at home, Sunderland away, and then QPR at home. So, how many points, Lewis, out of 15 are we hoping to grab there, given that Project 50 is up and moving?
Yeah, I remember you asking me this question on the first one I was on, and I said 3 or 4, and now we're on 6. And I'd snapped your hand off at that time for 6, let alone 3 or 4. I'd like to just see us go for it. Let's be honest, Sunderland have had a cracking start to the campaign. Whether or not they take that form into when we play them, I always find international break a bit of an odd one because it's sort of you sometimes lose a bit of that form. I think if international break wasn't next week and we were playing again next week, I'd think, we could go away and do something. But international break takes a bit of that away. I'd be more I'd be more than happy with again another 6 points going into the next international break. Depends on the other teams, different form, etc. It's a different one to answer, to be honest with you. But I'd take another 6 points going into that, given how we've done this season so far.
All right. Let's ask you then to rate your transfer window. What you would grade out of 10. Let's just review the where the money has been spent then. So just short of €2 million on Zeta Strong, who you highlighted already. Kept you in that game at the very start. Uwe Adams, who will meet with Cardiff again in a week's time, and Kenzo. And then loads of free transfers and loan transfers. So you would argue, in terms of depth, you've done well. In terms of quality, we know that some of these haven't even been seen yet. But in terms of the incomings, Darren, do you think the club have done well? Muted, my friend.
Sorry, guys. I think it's been an excellent window. I looked down that list there. I think we've got some really amazing loan signings. I think Jerry Yates, as John said, I saw the highlights from yesterday. He looked superb. David Ozo, I called this early on. I think he was in our first chat. This guy's going to be the player of the season. He's just going to get better and better. I love the fact we've got in some players from abroad because we've just been kind of fishing on home shores for the past few seasons, and there's always that kind of excitement when you get a player from abroad. It sort of reminds us of our days under Jim Smith. So yeah, I think it's good. The only thing that's probably missing is maybe another striker. There's talk that we're gonna get a free agent. A striker. So just do you want me to give it a mark? Mark, are we doing that
in
now?
a minute you can.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I think good. Yeah, very good.
All right, let's look at the departures then. Peyton, are there any on here that you think the club have fumbled the ball with and should have done more or should have offered them better terms? Or are you happy to see the back of all these?
Well, I mean, Robinson on loan, he's coming back. He's a good youth player. We're not seeing much of him. Don't think we've seen enough of him, but he'll be back. Forner, Smith, Hurahan, yeah, couldn't care less, to be honest. They could have gone January last year, and I don't think anyone would have really been bothered. Sibley and Wildsmith, I think. Wildsmith more than Sibley. At the start of the window, everyone was like, well, why are we getting rid of him? He was quality for us, 20 clean sheets. But I mean, look at it now. We've got Zetterstrom, who's miles better than him. And I think he's probably miles better than 50% of the goalkeepers in this league, at least. And then Sibley was a squad player who didn't want to be a squad player. So nothing we could really do. Good departures.
Yeah, and Oxford are actually quite happy with them so far. All right, let's get your gradings then. 1 to 10 on the Derby County transfer window 24-25. Lewis, I'll let you go first on this one.
I'm going to say a solid 8 without going to decimals of 8.5. I think a solid 8. Yeah, a solid 8 for me.
John, any higher?
7. Lower, 7 out of 10.
Okay. Darren?
Yeah, I'm going to go 8, maybe just the missing extra striker. So I'm going to say 8.
Peyton?
Controversial, I'm going to say 9. I think no striker will be fine.
Okay. Can you go any higher than that? Or we'd love to hear your comments on all of this as well. Thank you very much. And finally then, we're asking across the network this week for your worst away day trips, away day memories as Derby start to get the bigger trips now coming up. I'm sure lots of you've got lots of memories, but in short, John, do you have anything in the back of your mind that reminds you of a time away?
2 weeks ago, I went to Watford. I didn't get into half time. That one, and then the worst trip back was Bobby Zamora Day. Was the worst trip back at the ground, surrounded by QPR fans. Brilliant.
Okay. Lewis, can you beat that?
Brighton away under the second reign of Steve McLaren. Friday night, club put on free travel, go down, lose 3-1, and it's a long way back from Brighton when you're rubbish. All that way from Brighton, getting back at like 1-2 in the morning. So that's my one.
Darren?
Many moons ago, when Ravanelli was playing for Derby, I went to a cold away day at West Ham. We never do well at West Ham. And West Ham won 5-0. Trevor Sinclair scored an overhead magical kick for West Ham, which he rated as his favourite goal. I was in the away end. I saw the ball come straight into the net. Dreadful.
Peyton?
I've not been to many, so I'm going to have to say Blackburn, although it wasn't that bad. Blackburn this season, the drive there was a bit terrible. The drive back was a bit terrible, and the game wasn't great. So,
all right. If you can beat any of that, comment below. Thank you four for joining us. Enjoy your little rest from having to do this, and we'll see you the other side of the international break. Cheers for now.